Good morning, faculty, staff, guests, and most importantly, you, my future alumni of Jesuit High of Tampa. My name is Hugh Thompson, Jesuit class of 1982, but my friends call me Bernie. It's a privilege and an honor to be your morning convocation speaker. I would like to share with you this morning how impactful Tampa, Jesuit, and our motto, Men for Others, has been to my life. Let's talk a little bit about Tampa. My parents were born and raised in East Tampa. They attended a segregated Middleton High School of the 1950s without the ability to attend high schools like Jesuit or the Academy of the Holy Names. My mom and her siblings did, however, attend St. Peter Claver Catholic School. St. Peter Claver, I think as most of you know, was founded by Jesuits here in Tampa to provide quality education for Black school-age children. My mom was a direct beneficiary, and subsequently me, of a great St. Peter Claver legacy. And my mom was also one of the first Black women to integrate the University of South Florida in the early 1960s. As more Catholic and public schools in Tampa integrated in the 1960s and early 1970s, a natural pipeline of well-prepared and highly talented young Black men came to Jesuit, men who have gone on to become judges, lawyers, law enforcement officers, doctors, clergy, military leaders, entrepreneurs, businessmen, educators, sports figures, community leaders, and some even became a nerdy engineer like myself. I'm part of the nerd crew, guys. Now a little something about me. I was born in West Tampa, as were so many Jesuit grads before and after me. I attended Catholic elementary school at St. Patrick's, where I did pretty well. My 7th grade math teacher and sports coach was Charles Chuck Trainer. You guessed it, a Jesuit grad, and who was one of many, including my cousin Hayward Bryant, class of 1977, to encourage me to attend Jesuit. What I did not realize back then was Jesuit's influence in my neighborhood of West Tampa, its contribution to my success at St. Patrick's, my own family legacy, and yes, Jesuit's history in my home parish of St. Peter Claver. So now let's talk a little bit about Jesuit. I was accepted to Jesuit having performed extremely well on the entrance exam. Back then, if you did well on the entrance exam, you were placed in a certain class track. Well, I was placed in the Latin, honors algebra, honors English track. Why is this important, you might ask? Well, most incoming freshmen back then took Spanish. However, a certain Spanish teacher would always chide me. His name was Mr. Frank Yende Sr., affectionately known as Senor Yende. And I think that was, back then, his way of showing true respect for me as a young kid. He would always tell me, "Why are you taking this dead language?" which was Latin, of course. Well, that interest manifested itself into a summer job with the city of Tampa as a lifeguard. Yes, Senor Yende helped secure my very first job, a job that has directly affected the rest of my life. And for any nerds out there, Sir Isaac Newton, as some of you may know, had a few laws, the third of which can be summarized as this: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Note here that opposite doesn't necessarily mean negative or positive, but is rather a magnitude and associated direction. A few years later, that job with the city of Tampa would help me secure my first federal position as a civil engineering intern with the Office of Groundwater and Drinking Water at the United States Environmental Protection Agency. The person that hired me at EPA shared with me that my experience as a lifeguard and aquatic facility manager demonstrated a strong knowledge of water quality and water treatment, experience that made me an ideal internship candidate. That EPA internship also led to a job as a project manager with an environmental engineering firm, and then as a primary patent examiner with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, which also paid for me to attend law school. I'm a registered patent agent, an intellectual property consultant, and I currently work as a senior program manager with the United States Federal Railroad Administration's Office of Research Development Track Research Division, where I am an internationally recognized subject matter expert in railroad track support and substructure research. As you can see, the direction my life has taken has led to amazing opportunities, and the resultant magnitude of Senor Allende's support cannot be measured, as my mission has not yet come to rest. Shout out to Newton's first law. Men for others. I've been a public servant in some form since high school, whether it be here at Jesuit, where I mentored young Black students at, you guessed it, St. Peter Claver, or mentoring high school students as a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Shout out to my fraternity brothers in the rear. Or even speaking to future high school and college engineering students at HBCUs, such as my alma mater, Morgan State University. Which brings me to today. I stand before you as one of several co-founders of a newly formed nonprofit, the Private School Village, which is comprised of Black alumni from Bay Area private schools, including Jesuit, Academy of the Holy Names, Tampa Catholic, other private and Catholic feeder schools, and yes, of course, St. Peter Claver alumni. One of our goals is to preserve and strengthen the legacy of St. Peter Claver, but more importantly, to ensure that underrepresented and less fortunate students have the same tools and opportunities which have allowed me to speak before you today. Family and community have all been and will continue to be at the core of Tampa Jesuit's mission to develop men for others. Here at Jesuit, we develop a community of young men that are brothers forever. And as in any family, we all have a kinship to one another, but more importantly, a purpose. I'm here to tell you, you may not find your purpose or direction in life at this stage, as I had zero idea where life would lead me. But trust me, you will. In closing, I would like to use that dead language that Mr. Senor Allende famously chided me about to summarize a lifetime of living in service. Ad majorem Dei gloriam, for the greater glory of God. Go Tigers.